So this is episode 2. Episode 2, yellow colored glasses. And after watching the first one back ourselves, we forgot to introduce ourselves. So I'm Dustin, one of the owners here at the agency.
Hell yeah.
And we got Mr. Jake right here over to my left.
Yep.
Jake, we're just going to go around the room. You can introduce the next person.
Yeah. And then we have Amanda across from me.
And Michaela to my left.
So
Hi, I'm Michaela, and sorry.
Go.
No, I'm just being stupid.
So Amanda and I are married. Okay, so we're diagonal. And then
Michaela and I are married. So yeah, guys, I figured today we could just kind of tell the crowd or tell the audience a little bit about ourselves. Keep that brief, and then we can also kind of tell our story and why we partnered up and
for sure
how we partnered up.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a lot of questions we've gotten asked.
for sure.
So I think that'll be cool to so you guys can kind of see some insight on that. And we're episode number 2.
Episode number 2. So Jake, how long have you and Michaela been married?
So
Or
me and
dating?
Michaela have been married for what, 4 years?
Yes.
4 and a half?
April was 4 years.
Yeah. So to married for, actually, in a couple days it'll be 10 years together.
Yes. Been together since we were 17 and 21.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
So you have broke the law.
We have.
One time.
Because our journey actually started whenever I was 14 and you were 18.
God damn, that's terrible.
Hey, it's okay. It all worked out.
It's okay.
I was a senior and she was a freshman, and
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's happened, forever.
But yeah, 10 years together. So yeah, I'm very grateful to have her. She keeps me in line. I can be reckless sometimes, so it's good to have somebody to balance me out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what about you guys, Dusty and Amanda? How long you guys been together?
We've been together 10 years.
Okay.
A little over 10 years. Been married 8. And it's so funny because we were talking yesterday with our team when we were doing some meetings with our team, and we were on the subject of how every single thing, like choice, every single little thing in life leads you down a path. And I met Amanda just because I decided to transfer to UCM and become a teacher and coach.
Yeah.
And gave up on
Had
basketball.
classes in the same building, and
Yep. Gave up on basketball, went down there and saw her, and she fell in love with me a year before we ever talked, and stalked me on Facebook.
I love your version of the story.
And here we are, 10 years later, with a couple little kiddos running around. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wouldn't have the kids if you wouldn't have transferred to UCM.
wouldn't have a lot of it. That's the thing, is every single
every
little
choice plays into the next thing.
Yeah.
100%.
Amanda after college, she actually applied for occupational therapy school at Colorado State, and if she got in, we were going.
We were going to go to Fort Collins, Colorado.
So we were headed to
Did
Fort
you guys
Where
Collins.
is
even know that?
No, where's Fort Collins
It's north
at?
of Denver.
That'd be
Yeah.
a cool place.
Yep.
Oh,
I
it's
could get
beautiful.
down that.
I was excited.
Yeah.
And she didn't, and we just kind of rolled with it from then, and yeah.
Well, thank God you didn't.
I know.
Every little thing. So
It is wild how every little thing that always plans out one
Yeah.
way or the other,
Yeah.
no matter if it doesn't go as planned or not.
absolutely.
So, okay, so that's cool. Yeah, so we've been together. All of us have been together for a while. Me and Dustin, we've known each other again. I know we talked about this last time, but how did we? Honestly, bro, how did we even meet? I couldn't tell. Like, if somebody asked me how me and you met, I don't know if I have an answer for that.
So we of course played like Little League basketball.
Was that what it was?
I mean, yeah,
but we
there's
knew.
a million kids. You don't.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other. We didn't really meet until our high school girlfriends were friends.
Was
Like,
that
that's
what
when
it
we
was?
became
Okay,
friends.
okay.
Hanging out with each other, double dates, going to homecoming, that kind of stuff. That's
Okay.
when we really.
I guess you're right.
became
I thought
friends.
maybe we had known each other prior to that. I don't know. But yeah, okay. So yeah, me and you have known each other really for probably 20 years. We're 30, 31, 32. So
Yeah.
20 years of our life, we've known each other. the ladies, you guys would have known each other for what, 10 years basically
10
now?
years.
I mean, ever
Yep.
since.
Yeah. So me and Amanda met on a double date. We went bowling.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about
Wow,
that.
I would have never remembered
We
that.
Oh,
went
Actually,
wow.
I
bowling,
remember that.
and
You sure it was
Dusty.
us?
Yes, it was definitely with you guys. We went bowling, and I want to say it was in like Blue Springs.
It
area.
was.
And Dusty had just bought Amanda a beautiful necklace, and so that was
So it
like
was right
the
after
talk.
Christmas then. Okay.
And we bowled. I don't remember what my game
Who won?
turned out like.
It
I
was
don't know.
not me.
No, probably not me either.
I probably
Gosh,
did.
darn.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah, I would have
forgot
never
all
known
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
Didn't we go? Was it Nick and Bailey that we went with? No, when we went to the Royals game. Were you guys at that too? When we first started?
Yeah.
Us four went to a Royals
We
game,
went to a
but not
Royals
with
game.
Nick.
Not that
Okay.
one. That one
That
was
was
with
the very.
Nick.
That was like me and your first date, very first date. Okay.
But
Yep.
us four did go to a
Yeah,
Royals
we
game
did,
before you guys had kids, and like I remember,
That was
Michaela had dark hair.
I did. I had black hair.
that was right after we got back from our honeymoon.
Okay.
I remember.
Because how long have you guys been married? How
8
long?
years.
8 years, and then together 2, or
we were
together 10.
we dated basically just a year,
And then got
engaged a
engaged.
year,
Okay.
and then married.
I had to really make sure that Michaela was it for me. You know, we dated for a couple times, and then
Because you wanted to go be a dock boy.
I was gonna go be a dock boy at the lake, man. That was my dream right there. I was gonna
We dated for four
Peace
months.
out.
And Jake said, "Listen, sweetheart." No, he didn't call me sweetheart. He's like, "I gotta go be a dock boy. I got dreams."
There's a calling for me, man. Like the water is calling for me. I can't swim very well, but it's calling.
I was distraught. I was out of my mind. It was an out of body experience.
Wow.
Destroyed. 14 years old.
But look where you are now.
Look where we are now.
It all worked out.
I was a hooligan back in the day.
I want to hear was there any good dock boy story? Do you have one that comes to top of your
He
mind?
didn't go be a dock boy.
He didn't.
Fast forward.
No.
Oh, you didn't do that?
No, I mean I did, but I didn't. No, I didn't do that. Dude, I was in high school when
In theory.
when me and her broke up. It was right after football season, I think, my senior year. We
Oh,
broke
senior.
up, and I was just planning ahead. I'm a planner.
Shit.
So I was like, I don't foresee myself being around come April or May because I'm gonna go be a dock boy,
Yeah.
right? So I was gonna go be a dock boy, live the dream, washing boats and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't bring this beautiful lady along with me and break her heart. So I'm
Might
gonna
get in
end-
the way of the other ladies.
Yeah, not that, but I just was, can't long distance relationships at that age, man. I wasn't about it, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna do her a solid. I'm gonna grow up, go be my dock boy.
You were doing her a solid.
That was my strategy, man. And those strategies always work out, but this one
Yeah.
they did.
Okay.
So, but no, I'm very happy with really all my decisions in my life.
Okay, so you didn't go be a dock boy, but how did you end up where we
Yeah.
are
So
now?
so what did I do? So I went to right out of high school. I did a bunch of stuff.
Pause. No rocking.
I know I stopped. I caught myself.
Okay.
Hear it.
Yeah.
So what I did out of high school was first off I did door-to-door sales, sold security systems with ADT. Does it again.
Hey, there you go.
All right, we're ready. It's a habit. And this fucking thing.
I'm glad you are experiencing my struggles.
Just
from-
flip your
Just flip your
headphones.
headphones. Literally turn your headphones. Right and left doesn't matter. It's okay. You still here?
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
perfect.
That's
We're
way
good.
better. Okay, cool. All right, so right out of high school, had multiple different jobs. Multiple jobs, actually, not multiple different, multiple jobs. Had multiple jobs. So my main job was, I was a door-to-door salesman for a while.
Cutco?
Huh?
Cutco?
ADT, of selling security systems. So did that for about a year. Learned a lot. Was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had in my life. But from an hourly standpoint, it was probably the most money I ever made from an hourly standpoint. I would work about 5 hours a day of knocking doors And at that age, I was the highest paying job I'd ever had, and like I said, it was great. I think it taught me a ton. After that, I actually got a job at GNC. I was a sales rep at GNC, a general nutrition store. Was working there part-time. At that time, I decided that I was going to go to college, so I gave it a real good try. I tried a full semester. Wasn't for me. So I pieced out on that, and then I went, I actually then went to work at a job at Lake City. Okay? I went and worked ammunition plant. Worked the night shift, worked 12-hour days. They told me it was going to be 4 days a week. It ended up being 6 days a week. Worked from 6 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning, and didn't know anything else other than just go to work and come home and sleep, and didn't have time to spend any of my money and all that. Was going into work about 6 months into that job, 7 months in, and I get a phone call saying that our building blew up. There was an explosion in our building. Crazy story. A guy died, actually. Literally.
But you weren't there, right?
I wasn't there, but I was on my way. So long story short, I got laid off. When I got laid off, I went back to GNC, and then I got into management with GNC. I was with GNC for 5 years total?
Yeah.
I would say.
I think so.
4 years, 18. Yeah, no, I'd say 4 years. I was with them for 4 years. And then got into management, and then that was my last career I had before I went into insurance. Then I started my career in insurance with State Farm, and now I'm here. So that's kind of what I was doing prior to getting into the insurance game.
All those jobs that you just mentioned, I think that leads us into, we don't have to get there yet, but that goes right into owning a business and being an entrepreneur or running things for yourself versus, you're talking about the best paying hourly job you ever had. Mm-hmm. The key there is you're doing it every single day, every single week, every single month, and it's all starting over.
Yep.
And that kind of goes into, a lot of the reasons why we did what we did. Michaela, what was your background before you were here?
So right out of high school, I immediately went into schooling for dental assisting. That was only like a 3 or 4 month program. The place that I actually did the dental assisting program at, they asked me to come work there. So I worked there for a year and a half, 2 years. Then I went to dental hygiene school. That was 2 years long, year and a half. Then I went into being a dental hygienist.
Mm-hmm. But prior to the hygiene school, you were in college, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had to do your 2 years of college.
Yeah.
To be able to get in, it was like a nursing type program.
Yeah. So I was like going to school and, working a dental assisting job at the same time.
Okay.
I was in dentistry for 7 years, so I was very well-rounded and very educated in dentistry. I take really anything that I do maybe too seriously. So it's been interesting coming out of something that you know so well and something that you have so much experience in, and then stepping into a role where you know next to nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't even know about my own insurance policies because you were in insurance and you took care of everything. So there was really just no need for me to know because I just trusted you and whatever you were doing,
100%.
So this was just like completely different world.
Yeah.
So here I am now in our insurance brokerage.
Yeah.
To go back, first of all, I want to hear about you guys.
Well, what I was going to say though too, like to elaborate on what you just said, it's amazing because you said that what you take things too serious on what you do. Mm-hmm. Like when we opened up our first week here at the office, Jake was at a conference. He was at a real estate conference, and you
guys were pissed.
I had gotten mad at Jake like a month and a half before that because I was like, dude, that's the freaking week we opened up. You guys are big boys. You can do it.
I said,
And
you guys
none
are.
of us.
You guys are not. What did I say? You guys are. Yeah.
You're
I think-
adults. You're adults.
I
You're
said, you
big
guys
kids.
are big kids. You guys can handle yourself. I don't need to be there.
But yet us three know nothing about insurance, and we're opening
not
our
that
doors.
we didn't know anything about insurance. We were
That's
educated on
true.
insurance. Now, did we know much? No, but there was more systems and all that. And then
What am I doing in another? I'm in another state, having a time of my life, learning about some really cool stuff, and what am I doing all day? How's it going?
we close any business.
We got any business closed? What's the production looking like?
You
I'm
know
like,
what?
Jake, I don't even know what that means. Like, literally, why are you asking me
And I'm getting,
questions?
and I'm asking it. I mean, not just once.
multiple times a day.
Yeah, and I'm texting everybody separately because they're not even texting me back. I'm like, and the guy I'm with is like, "How's the office doing?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know. They're not freaking responding to me."
So,
We were like little dories trying to swim through the ocean at
so
that
it
point.
took us a week basically to get 2 quotes done in Nationwide because that was the only company we had access to yet.
Yeah.
And so my point is,
Oh, that's funny.
looking at Michaela now and Amanda and myself, where we're at compared to where we were just a year ago, like the growth
yeah.
and the knowledge and the way that you can
Yeah.
explain things and the way that you just, it's pretty freaking amazing. So
Yeah. And I've been used to, like, from myself, like I was always used to bouncing around and like kind of trying to figure things out. But really your guys' scenarios, like you guys had your expertise and that was it. You know, you would go at it. And I'm not saying you guys couldn't adapt and you guys, but you know, when we're all adults, like I kind of bounced around. I was doing sales to making bullets to, you know, selling GNC products. Like, so I was like everywhere. You know, so like with my thoughts, I'm like, oh, this is normal. But for you guys, like you guys have all been in the same industry for your entire professional career. I mean,
We're
right?
close to.
yeah. So Amanda, what was let's
Yeah.
give a background on you.
So I went to UCM in Warrensburg for, like Dustin said, I was going to be a therapist, a physical therapist originally, and then started to go the OT route. Ended up with an exercise science degree, decided not to go on to get my doctorate. I was done at that point. I was done because I met my husband, to be completely honest. Got my exercise science degree and was a personal trainer for about a year and a half. Then we got married and Dustin took a job teaching and I followed suit and was a para at the same school for a year. I actually taught myself Braille so that I could
Oh, wow.
teach.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I was one-on-one para with a kindergarten
Because
blind,
there was one student
Yep.
particularly, right?
one kindergarten blind student that I worked with, taught her how to read with her fingers. Fell in love with education at that point, and that's when I went back and got my teaching certification. Taught 2 years of elementary PE. Went right along with my exercise science degree, hand in hand. And then I took a job and was just kindergarten classroom. I wanted more structure, wanted my own class. So then I taught kindergarten for 3 years. And then that's when one of those years was in Weston. And then after that, we moved back to Pleasant Hill. And I took kind of a year off, started a graphic design business. And
COVID,
then-
COVID was
Yep.
a deal. You quit.
Yep, we moved back.
And did you guys
during
have
all of
anybody
that.
influencing you to move back?
Um,
I don't think anybody was
Let me,
on that.
let me
Yeah,
tell a
I
story.
think Dustin needs to give that little tidbit. No, so actually, we wanted to move back, and to be completely honest, COVID was a good cop out for me to leave my
Yeah,
job
yeah.
and come back.
Hey,
So,
same man.
Michaela's the same
so
boat, man.
basically,
The vid, man, I got you.
Yeah.
The vid.
I did not want to try to teach 5-year-olds virtually whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Even
No.
3 months of that was enough.
That's when you put wine in your coffee cup and have a Zoom call.
What did you say?
I never did that.
What did you say?
Nothing. I was talking to
It never
Amanda.
happened.
I said I put wine, or I would put wine in my coffee cup and have Zoom calls with the
I
kids.
thought you said something
It's
else.
not something I would recommend for everybody.
No, I understand. I thought you said something else. Though.
What do you think I said?
No, another time, another
And
episode.
cut? No, I'm kidding.
Hey, for real though. So I don't want to be long-winded with this, but there's so many things, like when we're talking about our stories and really our backgrounds, where like everything that led to now. It's kind of funny. So Jake was talking about how he was all over the place. He's bouncing around from this job to that job and figuring it all out. And for the longest time with me, it was pretty figured out. So I went into education. Like I went to Park University, wanted to play basketball, did that for a year, and was going to be in business. I was going to do something business administration, accounting, something along those lines. Figured out I wanted to go to UCM and get my education degree and just become a high school basketball coach. And along with that, obviously, comes teaching too. So I got into coaching and education, and really that was what I did for the first 6 years out of college. And then we had kids, and Amanda was obviously teaching as well. So needed more money and went into the oil industry. Okay, so when I left education, I went and worked for a pipeline, which was a completely different type of work. I mean, money was triple. It was not the same thing at all. You're not having the connection and the impact and the feeling of the satisfaction of making an impact in people's lives. That's something that I still miss.
And you worked the night shift, right?
Worked the night shift, so it was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and it was really good for a time, and then it just you just get exhausted.
Yeah.
For sure.
You get just physically worn down. So did that, and then that led us into being able to do the consulting stuff that we were doing on my days off, which led me directly into into where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
So every little choice makes an impact, and it changes your path, and
100%.
everything is a step in the right direction. But I think the main thing that I wanted to say, this is why I said I don't want to get long-winded, taking risks and having a certain mindset. As two people that were teachers, we budgeted our money, we lived paycheck to paycheck, we were figuring out how to pay off the debt snowball, doing Dave Ramsey, all that. And Jake and Michaela have been a huge impact on us, watching them operate and watching their mindset, which when Jake jokes about being reckless, we kind of balance each other out, because I'm more conservative and he's more just, hey, let's go take a risk. And he has brought me so much further, more to that mid ground, even more, probably more so aggressive than conservative now. And so I'm very thankful. We're very thankful for Jake and Michaela being that example. I mean, from your guys' Airbnbs to your duplex to just the way that you guys approach everything. That's a big part in.
Well, and it's one of those things, like, I mean, me and you, we've done, I mean, anytime I would ever need help, I would call Dustin. Dustin was one of the guys that, you had your buddies and, everything was good. And then you had your buddies that you could call if you actually needed to get something done, right? So Dustin was actually that guy. I remember actually earned a lot of respect for Dustin whenever we were hauling hay. I could throw a lot of hay back when I was younger.
That's correct.
I could probably out hay anybody, in my opinion. And I do have a little bit of a optimistic mindset sometimes, but Dusty he hung with me, and I always told him, I've always said that, and for whatever my opinion is worth, like, I always thought Dustin would be great in insurance, great in sales, great in just anything like that, and was always pushing for him to do it, and finally it happened.
Yeah, and then it happened. So whenever we were moving back here from Weston, when Jake asked about if anybody was influencing that decision, yeah, it was definitely Jake was the one putting the bug in my ear, like, dude, you just need to come, just get back here, be around.
I think he texted you almost every single day and said,
I was
when
sending
are you
them
coming back?
houses.
When are you
probably.
coming back?
It's a perfect
Works.
house.
Just like you just did for Nick too.
I get
Sending them
everybody to
houses.
come back. Nick, buddy Nick's moving
Recruit
back
the
now
boys.
too, man. Get them all. That's how I got my pretty wife, man. Like, no.
Yeah, so like that's just one of those things that you surround, like the people that you're surrounded by. I mean, it's a cliche, you guys hear it all the time, but like you become who you surround yourself with.
100%.
And that, Jake and Michaela have made a huge impact in just our mindset and the way that we approach things. And I think Jake would, tell you the same thing about us. Like, the way I balance him out sometimes, even though I annoy the crap out of him, sometimes, make him think about things a second
100%.
way.
And to elaborate on that, it goes with each other across the diagonal here, right? I mean, there's no way that I would take the chances and the risk and all the things that I have done personally, right, without her having my back, right? You got to have somebody to have your back, right? But yeah, I mean, you gotta have the other person to have your back.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of people that have a ton of confidence in themselves and know what they're doing, but sometimes they just need to have one person to back them up, right? And that goes both ways. Like, there's been multiple things that I don't think she would have done if I wouldn't have had her back. And I know from my side, there's a ton of things. I remember when we bought our duplex, before we were married. I don't even know if you guys know this. It took every dollar, because you weren't even working at that time. You were in school. So it was just my income at that moment. And I remember we were like $200 short on closing. So I think what I did was I got a credit card and I went and I got a cash out. I got $200 out of my cash advance on a credit card so we could close on this duplex. Cleared the accounts out. It was normal.
Like, we were stressed.
And we were on vacation too.
We were on vacation.
Because you were just graduated.
Like, the day that we were coming back from vacation, we were going to be closing on this duplex. And I remember you were just so out of your mind, stressed out about being able to. I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. We're
exactly. She was like, oh, it'll be fine, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, man, I don't really know how we're gonna figure this out. Like,
we're $200 short.
She got money from graduation. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's gonna be good. So we actually were like $400 short. And we got $200 or something from graduation. And we had to go get a cash advance on a credit card. And guess what? We closed on it. Everything was good. We had money coming in. Like, I just didn't have that next paycheck. Like, again, we were young, man. Like, we were, 22? I was 22.
Sitting in my dad's basement.
Yeah.
Building a
duplex.
An agreement.
Yeah.
For our
tenant.
duplex.
Yeah.
Wow. For a tenant, yeah.
And then guess what? We closed on that property, and then what did I say? They were building one right next door to it.
Oh, God, yeah.
And we were getting married in April, and I'm like, babe, I think we need to buy this thing.
Yeah, he wanted to buy the second one. I'm like,
I said, we can make it work. If we save this much and we can build our accounts up by this much on this day, they're going to be done. We'll close, and then we'll figure out how to finance that damn wedding. I was so gun-ho on it, too. And honestly, I'm happy we didn't do it. But if I would have had her blessings, we would have done it. And vice versa. If I didn't have her blessings at the very beginning, or when we didn't do it, we didn't do it. And that's one of the biggest things that I feel like we've done very well with, is we got to have each other's backs with that. Because if not, it does not work. Yeah. It takes two to tango.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that goes hand in hand with what you guys do. Like, even though you guys might have a little bit different mindset with things, like, you guys still always have each other's back.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, maybe not all the time.
You have to.
Yeah, but you support him and he supports you, like, whatever that is.
Whatever you guys are doing, like, you guys are in full support of each other.
Yeah.
I would have never quit a full-time job to be a stay-at-home mom if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. And
that took a lot of push. That took a lot of push. I was like, but what about my health care? What about my, all these things?
Yeah.
And those are stressors for sure. And I think one of our biggest hurdles that we had to jump was the day that we closed the door on the moving truck to come back to Pleasant Hill.
Yeah, I mean, literally leaving to come back to Pleasant Hill, but we closed the moving truck door and got a call from Magellan, the pipeline at the time, that they were cutting it. They were making a cut, and I was a low man on the seniority list, and that was pretty scary.
I had just quit said job
you know.
to move back, and he got the call that his job was being cut.
And you know, at the same, and that ended up working out, and I ended up staying on there. And then fast forward 4 months later, and then I'm leaving that job to go, you know, be just self-employed full time. And yeah, here we are now. I mean, everything works out. Everything works out, and no matter when when your back's against the wall, whenever you don't have what you think you need in that comfort level, you can always figure it out.
And
you just do it.
And once you do it once, though, like, you know, to think that if you're ever in a situation where you got, you know, somebody's pinned you up against the wall, you know, that's a scary moment. And we just talked about this yesterday with the employees. But if you get pinned up against the wall, just thinking about that seems very stressful, and it gives a lot of people anxiety and all that. Sure. But once you've been pinned against the wall a bunch of times, then it's just it's a normal day.
Yeah.
And then it's fun. You know, it gives you a little bit of a
Kind of an adrenaline rush.
adrenaline
Yeah,
rush.
totally.
You know, it's
And
kind
challenge
of a high.
accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what
100%.
highness feels like, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, that's
Jake, you're on right.
But for real, like, I think that's kind of how I've looked at it. That might be cliche, I don't know, but
no, it's true.
I mean, and it's fun, like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with not doing that, not taking those chances, like, nothing wrong at all. But how my personality works, how her personality works, and really, I think both of your guys' personalities like it too.
Yeah.
It's fun, and it's just, you control what you can
Sometimes
control.
you're just straight up forced into those situations
Correct.
too.
'Cause that's gonna happen.
You have no other choice.
Yeah,
You
that's
gotta
gonna
roll with
happen.
it.
Sometime, some point in time, somebody's gonna have their back against
Yeah.
the wall, right? So it prepares you for whatever that future, you know, situation might look like.
So you're in insurance, you're in State Farm, and you were at the time applying. I'm going into how we're in the brokerage now.
Yeah.
So you're at State Farm. You're applying to be a State Farm agent, but there's also another opportunity to be a consultant for State Farm agents. And at the time, that presented itself as the better option, and so you left State Farm completely. You know, didn't move forward with becoming a State Farm agent, and now you're in consulting. Consulting doesn't quite go how it was planned out to be.
Correct.
So now what? Now what do we do?
Well,
That's a great.
And that's the same. So Dustin and Jake were both doing the same consulting
Yep.
together.
Yeah, thank you. That was
Together.
missed for sure.
yep. Yeah. So me and Dustin were
Yeah. How
doing-
did you? So you're in the consulting. How did you get? How did that happen? How is Dusty now in?
Yeah. So again, that I always told Dusty, man, you'd be a good salesman. You know, just listen to me. You know, he gets in. We'll finally talk him into doing it. He's actually, that's another story. Dusty applied for a side job at Pizza Hut, and he was going to be a driver. He wasn't qualified enough. He hadn't had enough miles on the road or something. I don't know. But they declined his application, and he didn't get a job. So, you know, I came in as a good friend. I said, hey, man, like, we got an opportunity here. I know you want to work at Pizza Hut. All right, man, like, we're doing some cool stuff here, like, you know what we're doing. So, long story short, man, he jumped on board, and you know, I talked a lot. I can talk a lot of good shit. I can talk shit sometimes, especially to him, and he just whooped my ass out of the gate. I mean, just outsold me every single damn day. And I'm just like, honestly, on myself, I'm like, God, I knew this fucking dude would be good, but I didn't think he'd be that good, you know? And so, yeah, that's how that happened. He came on board. We were doing a bunch of stuff with that. Dustin learned a ton of stuff on insurance during that time, and so did I. I learned a ton. I mean, when you're trying to teach somebody else how to do something, you learn a ton by doing that. And that's, you guys probably great examples of teaching people. I never taught I'm actually not very good at teaching people things, I don't think. So that taught myself a ton by doing that. And you were a natural at it, man. I mean, you really were. Like, you were naturally at it. And then that's what led us into when we knew we were done with that, right? We wanted to move on. I mean, and I know you want to say something, but I'm going to say this and I'll end it. I knew we had to, if we wanted to do the things that we wanted to do, it takes more than just me and her, right? We could have done this all by ourselves and everything would have been fine. But there's no way you get to the top without other like-minded people, without other genuinely good people around you at all point in time. So now not only do I have my wife's back, now I got my friends back, my business partners back. Like everybody has everybody's back now. Sure. And that's the beautiful part about it, in my opinion, is if you want to go, I mean, everybody's heard this, if you want to go far, what is the saying? If you want to go far, if you want to go fast, or if you want to go far, fast, go alone. No, what is it? Say it.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
There you go.
Yes, there we go.
I think,
you
right?
almost had a George
It's very
W.
close.
You just had a George W. Bush moment whenever he tried to crack the joke about
fool me once, fool me.
Shame on you. Fool me twice.
Shame on me.
Don't want to get fooled more than once.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Oh, shoot. No, I don't even know how to elaborate on that. Like, first of all, thanks for saying all those nice things, because other than that, and then when I kick your ass at Madden, there's not very many things that I beat you at, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's on a basketball court.
No, but no, like everything that you just said is spot on, because honestly, when we were going into doing this, everybody says don't go into business with your friends.
Yep.
Everybody says that. Okay. And that was the thing that we talked about from the very beginning. When we were, when we started planning this, when we was like, hey, let's figure out how to do the brokerage. Let's figure out how to open up an independent agency. We started planning it, and it just took off, right? Mm-hmm. Like we would meet Tuesday nights were our main night, it seemed like, where we would end up, they would be at our house, we'd be at their house, and we were coming up with numbers, we were coming up with business plans, we were coming up with the goals we would have, how we wanted it to look, what kind of opportunities we wanted to provide for employees. Yep. And at the same time, like, we knew it would be challenging, but everything that Jake just said, that Michaela just said about going together, there's been so many things that have happened that would not have happened had it just been me or her, or you and her.
Correct.
Correct.
And honestly, another thing, like, it's a little bit more fun when you do things together. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, when we and you were doing it, like, we have another two people to bounce things off, ideas off. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I would say everybody would agree with this. We are all four totally different. Mm-hmm. We have similarities, but we are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's all good. So I don't know, man. Like, I came from a spot where, everybody, like you said, like, partnerships are bad. You don't go into business with your friends. They're always going to fail. You got this and you got that. Man, that's the old news, man. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're looking at the Cardones of the world and the guys that are just on top of everything, they have multiple business partners. Because it's not about one person. It's about a group of people. You get a group of people together, different mindsets, realistically different strengths, weaknesses, all of that, and you combine those people, and as long as the communication is open,
100%.
Right, it's going to work. And as long as your back is against that wall, it's going to work. So,
and I feel like we've all had our own experiences
100%.
in working for someone else where, okay, because now we're here, we're in the brokerage, we're the owners of the brokerage, and I think we apply those past experiences to present day and say, okay, how do we make our team's experience better based on our poor experiences?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I don't know.
No, I love that, because that's the difference, is like the bad things that have happened to all of us, no matter if it's previous bosses or how certain cultures were and expectations. Like, we've all felt disrespected, undervalued, all of that in our life, right? And a lot of people, you can say, oh, well, that sucks, like, sorry me. Or you can say, hey, no, that's great. I'm happy that has happened, because now I know what not to do.
Yeah.
And I know how to do these things to not make anybody else feel that way. And that's a driving factor for me. I mean, personally.
yeah.
I mean, I of course want to make a ton of money and do a lot of cool things, but I mean, to provide good opportunities where someone is like, man, you know, Jake he's a good person. That's all that matters. And I think we all have the same mindset. Like,
Yeah,
not to cut
for
you guys
sure.
off, but like, I think we do.
My very first job, 16 obviously, I think I was paid on time once in my entire duration there. So in my mind, I'm like, man, if I could just, you know, pay all my people on time, I feel like I'm
Put
goals.
that damn thing on the check box.
Yeah, like that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda, here's the thing too. Is I wouldn't even classify like my experiences before this as bad experiences.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I like
classify
that.
them as bad at all. I think,
Learning.
yeah, I mean, it's really
Did I say bad experiences?
No, I might have. I think I did.
I don't, but
And
I don't think you meant it
No.
the way that.
That's a
I don't
better
think you meant, like,
word for it.
I think that
They were learning opportunities.
yeah, and I guess when we talk about the mindset, like there's so many people that maybe they're not in a bad spot, right? They're not in a bad spot, but they're in the comfort. You know, they're in a comfortable spot. They're at a good job, but they don't necessarily like love it, right? They don't love it. But I think the one thing, and this is where I go back to earlier, every step that we have taken has not been because we were in a bad position. It's been because, hey, we just want to do something better.
Yeah.
And we want to figure out the best thing for us and our happiness and figuring out the best way we can grow. And
This has been the best working years of our life. Like,
100%.
we have said that our happiness levels, being able to just roll with the punches. If there's a bad day, there's a bad day. You move on. You work through it.
But it's
those kinds
probably
of
been the
things.
stressfulest years as well.
Yes, valid, because there's been a lot to learn and maneuver through. And
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, when you combine 4 personalities together where all of us are trying to make decisions,
100%.
whew, talk about a freaking argument there.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. Like, that's hard.
It
but
is.
every time,
It's
we come out on
discussion.
top.
It's
Yeah.
it's discussing it and letting your ego down and trusting the people that you're around. And that's it, realistically.
100%. I mean, having hard conversations. When I think the number one thing, and I don't remember who said it. You said it plenty of times. I don't remember who said it last, but the one reason that this works and is going to continue to work 100% is because we all have the same common goal.
Yep.
We have the same common goal, and we talk about what our goals are. We figure, like, on a weekly basis, like, well, there's new things. We never expected to be doing some of the things that we're doing at our agency
I
right
mean,
now, 11 months in.
So here's a funny story, and this guy will freaking love it that we're about to say something. Just even say his name, and he better be listening to it. But last year, we were almost 12 months out from me and his anniversary date right now. I'm sitting at Johnny's Tavern doing a fantasy football draft, okay? We were supposed to probably be doing something that day.
Oh.
But, you know, fantasy football is
Yeah.
definitely
That
number
time of year
one.
again.
Okay.
Here we go.
We're almost there. I'm sitting there. I don't know anybody except for one dude that cuts my hair, shady dude. And I'm sitting next to this other dude, and we're sitting there, and, you know, he seems very quiet, you know, very intelligent, it seems like. And I got all my stuff down, and I got my players, and I pick really random, weird players. And I pick one, and he looks at me, and he goes, I like that pick. Good job. I said, thanks, man. Like, thanks. Like, that guy's pretty cool. That's what I thought. His name's Jeremy Sickle. Is that his last name? Is that how you
Yes.
pronounce it?
Oh,
Jeremy
Jerbeck.
Sickle. And that guy,
That's right.
that one little comment, one little compliment has created a web of new roads for us on what
Yep.
we do with our agency. And just something so small like that, you got to be grateful for.
100%.
And that's why I play fantasy football.
So, Jeremy
Yeah,
is
so-
someone that we've been able to work with in insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and how random you met him at a fantasy football.
Yeah, and that just kind of goes to show of what we were talking about originally. How every single person has an impact on your life, some way, somehow, good or bad. You can look at it good, you can look at it bad, but anything is bad that's happened to you, there's always some good out of it. Something good. And if you can train your mind to do it, you can sit here and say it all day long and it's freaking hard when it happens, right? But if you can do that and maybe get a little bit better every single year, and then as long as you have your common goals, which we all do, it'll all work out one way or the other, realistically.
Honestly, what do you think is the best part about doing what we do, though?
Yeah.
Like it being us four at the office every day. Like, what are the best things?
Yeah, honestly, and this is another thing where there's definitely a debatable a topic right now, and just in general. But I mean, I think working with our wives is cool. Me and Michaela are, again, totally different in certain ways, and personality-wise, especially work-wise. She's a worker. Like, she just comes in and gets zoned in and just starts going at it. Me, I'm just kind of like, I'll get shit done all the time, but I also like to mess around a little bit too. So, poke the bear when people are upset. I like to make them, try to annoy them even more. No, I'm joking. But anyways, I would definitely say that working with our wives is pretty cool. And because I think we're a year in and it's working.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, no, not to toot our own horn or anything, but I mean, this has been wildly successful. This has been way more successful than we could have ever thought it could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, we knew it was going to be good. We knew we were going to do this and do that, but I mean, there's nothing I could, like, there's so many things that I'm thinking, like, that I see every single day where I'm like, gosh, like, you know, because I've even thought, like, what it would be without any of you here, you know, because really, you guys didn't have any insurance, and I could have done all this. I mean, not to be, hopefully this isn't an arrogant comment or anything, but I could have done it by myself, really, like from an actual resume standpoint. But there's so many things that I look at that I'm like, God, that would be terrible to be doing this by myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. Would hate my day. So I think that's a cool thing.
Michaela, what's your take on that? Working with your spouse?
It has its challenges, but overall, I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
a learning curve.
It's a learning curve, but it's possible to maintain like a personal relationship. And we have, like, I don't know how you guys orient yourselves, but we have very, like, specific conversations. Like, we'll have cutoff times of, like, hey, we're not going to talk about work after this time. Just because we still need to be husband and wife. Mm-hmm. Like, we work together, but prior to that, we were husband and wife, and we're friends. And so to be strategic in how we do that is, for me, essential. I think it helps me a lot, and I love it. Like, I think it's awesome. Yeah. It makes me feel proud to be able to work with you and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and maybe this is kind of mean of me, but I would have patients that would work with their spouse, and I was always just like question how that would pan out, you know? And it has been nothing shy of just amazing.
Yeah.
Most people I hear say that they're like, I don't know how the hell you work with your wife every day. Like, a lot
Really?
Of
I've gotten that
a lot of people have that opinion.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've gotten that a ton.
I feel like, so fun fact, this is actually Dusty and I's third job together. So we actually worked together at Harrah's as servers back in college.
Yeah, I remember that.
He actually worked there first. We worked in the buffet, crab leg nights, all that. And he got me on with him working there. We worked there for
a couple years.
2 years at least.
Years together, yeah.
Together. And then we also worked at Archie together. He taught elementary PE when I was a para.
Yeah.
So we were in the same building that time too. And so when we decided to do this together, I had no doubts. We had already worked together. We already knew kind of how we worked together in situations. Now, we didn't sit 10 feet from each other at those jobs, but I feel like, I don't know, I think it's really good for us. I feel like we work very well together. It's a little bit different on our end when we get home because we got
guys
the
have
2
kids.
littles running
Yeah.
around too. So we have to put off any talk about work until after they go to bed and then shut that off.
Yeah, how do you
And
guys
then-
handle that when you guys get home? I mean, do you guys ever
It's-
have your own time where I mean, I know you guys put the kids down at what, 8 or 9, I would say.
Yeah, with school by 8 at the latest.
I mean, yeah, it all varies, man. Like every day that's the
Yeah.
thing. When they're 3 and 5, so it's like
For sure.
kind of just a shit show all the time. You know, like you never know what's gonna happen.
Well, that's
But-
fun.
It is fun.
That's what makes it fun, I bet.
Yeah.
But
So-
I think the biggest reason why it's so good, and I think it's all how you choose to look at it,
100%.
is like most people don't actually get the opportunity to work with their spouse.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's
Like,
valid.
so they can say that they wouldn't like it, but they may not ever know because they never actually had the opportunity. And when you think about all the hours that are in a day and really just how quick life goes by, the fact that we get to be together as much as we get to be together, and really not like, I mean, I annoy her way more than she annoys me, but that's a really big.
He's kind of like
blessing.
Jake in that category, likes to poke the bear.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. I'm just but
See, I don't poke the bear with my wife. I do poke the bear with other people.
yeah, like me.
Yeah, you don't.
But I have to because I know I got to go home with her. I'm not you. I can say, peace out, bro. We're done.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow. Hopefully you get over it by then.
No, but that's just how we're all different too. I mean,
yeah.
like we're just all different, but it's been awesome.
It's fun.
It's
I think
I
we're
wouldn't
me and
change
you.
it at all.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I wouldn't change it at all. This has been literally
Yeah.
the best year of my professional as an adult career.
And Dusty, you said this multiple times where it doesn't even feel like a job, and
Absolutely.
it
I
would agree with
doesn't.
that.
And it's like
Doesn't.
it's like we're trying to. I can't even put. I've been thinking on that actually, like on what it even feels like, but it.
Well, we asked our team yesterday what the culture was like.
They said
one
different.
of them said not normal.
Not normal. And I was like, that's good, all right?
We're like, okay, we're gonna take that as a compliment. I think that's
Yeah.
what you mean.
Kind of started laughing a little. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just not normal. You know, most people go to their jobs and they just really hate it, and it's just not normal.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's good.
Okay.
But I know we've been talking about a bunch of good stuff, but there's a lot of bad stuff that's happened too. You know, there's been a lot of stressful times, a lot of we've had arguments, which is good. It's not been rainbows this whole
It
year.
has not been normal.
I mean, not at all. And that's one thing as well, is like you have to accept it, and I've been saying this word accept a lot, but you have to accept that it's not going to be all Gucci all the time, right?
Absolutely.
It's not going to be sexy. It's going to be ugly. There's going to be arguments. You're going to be stressed out. You're going to say, why the hell am I doing this?
Probably had the
But
most
accept it.
fun, but like Jake said earlier, the most stress.
Yeah, it's kind of been there's been times where you could almost call it a roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean,
At the beginning, right? But
Especially at the beginning.
it's been a process, and that is what life is it just enjoying it? And again, it's easier said than done, right? But
and this is kind of a coaching analogy here, but it's like, a football staff. There's a lot of coaches on a football staff, okay? And the difference with this versus a football staff is you still got the head dog at the top, right?
Yep.
Andy Reid's still, at the
Andy
end of the
Reid's
day,
Andy Reid.
he's making the final call,
Yep.
okay? So we have all that, the same exact aspect where we've got a lot of opinions, we've got a lot of ideas, we all are really passionate about what we're doing, and we got to figure out how to, at the end of the day, there's not just one person making the final call. So we've got to come to an agreement. And so whenever you have that all the time, right, and it takes learning which is a battle that I really care about, which is one that, hey, you know what, maybe I don't really want to do that, but you know what, they do, and I don't, I'm indifferent. So that takes practice, and we haven't been perfect at it,
no.
but
and we'll get better.
100%.
We'll get better, and that's the only thing you can do is just you learn from everything you can do.
I think me and you are very independent workers. I've realized.
Yeah.
Or people. We're
Yeah.
just very, very independent people.
Yeah, I agree. When I'm in the
Well, that is
when
one
I'm in the zone, I
similarity, I
really
think.
don't want to be talked to.
What'd you say?
When I'm in the zone, I really don't want to be talked to. I mean, really. I mean, like I don't like. I'm doing my thing, and that's bad. That's a fault on me. Like I got to be better with that. Like there's so many things that I need to be doing better, 100%. So
Yeah.
But
I think the last thing I want to talk about
let's
really
close this
quickly. Let's
bad
close
boy
it
out.
up. And maybe we'll put it in here, but maybe it's for another time too. Like if this didn't work, or if this doesn't work at any point in time,
Mm-hmm.
someone asks, how can you give up your full-time job to go be self-employed, to not know your future, to depend on yourself, to bet on yourself? In my mind, in worst case scenario, if this failed, I go get a job. I go get another job, right?
And you would be better at
figure
that
out-
job.
And you figure out how to make it work.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's just, I don't know. I think
And-
that's why we all need each other too. Is that the fear of failure is gone. We've got each
Yeah.
other to lean on, and we've all got the same common goal.
And that's a
and
valid
it.
one right there. Like if you walk into a big room where everybody's trying to get after you, right? Which that's what the world is. Like, you have things that are always obstacles to go through. But you walk in with a big group, a big team of guys, or group of people that all have your back. There ain't no way. There's no
Yeah.
way. There's no way that you walk out of that room not coming out on top,
Yep.
right?
100%.
That's your mindset. Like, and that's all it is sometimes.
Yep.
You might not walk out of that room, right? But you knew going into it that you were going to come out on top. And that's where I think, that's a good ending right there. That's where I think that doing things together is going to outdo the guy that's got the ego that wants to be the number one,
Right.
right?
Yep.
That guy is only going to go so far, but when you go with all of
Together.
us.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Episode
Anything,
2.
ladies?
No, I
think that's a good note. I think
yeah,
that's a good ending right
That's
there.
kind of how Warren and Mounce came to be.
Yep.
That's how we're all
Little bit of
here
background on
today.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of background on us.
What are we going to talk about on our next one? Do we know yet?
No, we don't know. Anybody got any? If you have any requests, leave them in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys like this one. Hopefully we did better. I think we did. I think we did a lot better. I think you guys can hear us better, especially me. Had more of a better topic, so I'm excited. I'm very excited about this. Just so everybody knows, I'm very excited about this. I think this is going to be cool. We're going to bring on again some really good, cool, interesting people. You guys aren't just going to be able to listen to us talk. Like, we're going to get in here and get some.
Did we
good
talk
guys.
about bringing on our employees the next time?
Yeah, so we'll bring our
That's- yeah,
employees
that's
on.
true.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's a
true.
good idea. We'll bring our employees on. That way you guys can get to know them a little bit. That'll be fun. And yeah, so
Alrighty.
Cool.
awesome, guys.
Thanks
job.
for watching.
Cut.
Peace out. The week after that, we can bring the guy on.